All right, welcome back to day 2 of editing. So hopefully yesterday's editing went really well for you. We're going to do the Tuesday example of editing because it has a few new pieces in it. So in Google Classroom, you're going to open your editing for Tuesday, and it has the same directions. You're going to watch the video, you're going to go through your editing, and then you will turn it in. So over here, I'm going to open my copy. And I want to be consistent in the symbols I use for editing. So for capitalization, remember I came right over here and I did insert, shape, and I used the up arrow. So I used arrows and I used the up arrow, and I'm just going to draw over here. And remember, once I draw it, I can then change my color. You can use a different color each day, that's fine. But let's see, today we'll use a pinkish color. Language usage, we're going to do the same thing with language usage that we do for spelling errors. So we're going to draw a line through the error and write the correction up top. For apostrophe, remember we used underline, we used a scribble. And so we did this curve, and then I thickened the line right up here, and I changed the line color. So line color is right here, and I'm using that pink. I want my colors to all be the same. Commas, remember, I went into shapes, and I used in arrows this little guy who kind of looks like a comma. Whoa, he's big. Now, if you do that, if you click on it like I did and it just drops one in there, you can select it and resize it. That's super easy to do. Okay, so I resized it. I'm going to move it up next to my comma, and I'm going to change the color. So it's going a lot faster today because I kind of have an idea of what I'm doing. Periods, remember, we just used a circle. So I'm going to come over here into shapes. I'm going to grab a circle. I'm just going to make a little circle right here that looks like a period. I think mine yesterday looked like ovals, but you know, that's okay. So there's my period. And spelling, remember, we're going to draw the line through and fix the text box. So I'm going to go through today and I'm going to do one capitalization. I'm going to show you how to do the language usage, and we're going to do the same process with the language usage as we do with the spelling. Today I'm going to do the apostrophe and the comma, and I think you can figure out the spelling and the period on your own. So I'm going to do a couple more examples today just so you have another reference for how to do these. So remember, the first time through, you're going to read the paragraph aloud, and the purpose of that is so that you can hear the pauses and you can hear the breaks and where spacing is supposed to be. That's the purpose of it. So don't skip that. A lot of times, if you just start at the beginning and look for where the errors go, you miss hearing where those pauses and breaks are. Okay, so let's start here. More than 1,000 years ago, the Mayans and other peoples of Central America chewed chicle. Chicle is the hardened sap of the sopadilla tree. Ancient Greeks were chewing gum made from the sap. See, that doesn't make sense if I just keep reading it through. All right, so ancient Greeks were chewing gum made from the sap of a mastic tree. The Native Americans of North America were chewing gum made from spruce sap. By the early 1800s, the first store to make and sell spruce gum had opened in North America. In the 1860s, the use of chicle as a chewing gum was developed and gum's popularity began to rise. Okay, so let's start with a capitalization. Remember, I don't have to remake these symbols every time. If I click on my symbol and hit Control C and then Control V, it's going to make a copy of it. Well, let's do the most obvious capitalization. We have to start every sentence with a capital, and so there's our first capital. Okay, language usage. Language usage, remember, is maybe they have used the wrong form of a word or it doesn't make sense. So in this one, we have a spelling error and a language usage. Okay, so sometimes they're difficult to tell the difference. So here's our language usage error. Greeks, we're chewing gum. So this really should say ancient Greeks were chewing gum. So our language usage problem is they put an apostrophe in here, and it shouldn't belong there. Now, sometimes we look at that and we go, well, wait a minute, maybe that's the apostrophe error. Well, no, because this, the way they have it written, is written ancient Greeks we're chewing gum, when it should be ancient Greeks were chewing gum. So that's what makes it a language error and not an apostrophe error. You do have another apostrophe error in there. So here's what I'm going to do. Because we are treating it the same way we treat our spelling error, we are going to draw a line. Okay, so I'm just going to make a line right here. And then remember, I'm going to thicken that line so that we can definitely see it. And I'm going to change the line color. Oh, where'd my line color go? Here it is. To my pink. So I've done that. And now I'm going to make a text box. Here's my little text box tool. That's a giant text box. That's okay. I'll shrink it up here. I'm going to use my text box tool. I'm going to change my size because remember, I don't need it big. 10 is a good size. And I'm going to change my color to that pink. And I'm just going to type in the correct form. Okay, I'm going to make it a little bigger so that I can resize it and then just move it up. Okay, so now from where we have were. So there's my language usage. And remember, this is the same process that we use. I did not spell, yep, no, I spelled it right. Were, W-E-R, yep. Okay, whew. So I'm going to use that same process for the spelling error where I draw a line through the spelling error and write the correction above. All right. So we did one capitalization, so you have 13 more to do. We did the language usage, so you don't have to do any more there. I'm going to do one of the commas. So I'm going to select my comma symbol, Control C, and then Control V makes another copy of it. And as I was reading, I remember I paused in this first line, more than 1,000 years ago, and there's a pause. So that pause tells me that I need to put that comma right there. So there's my comma, and then you can do the period and the spelling. Okay, so it should go a little quicker today. Remember, once you finish, so let's pretend, I'm obviously not done, but let's pretend I'm done. Okay, remember this automatically saves. I'm going to go back to my classroom and I'm going to click turn in. Okay, and I'm going to click turn in again, and I'm done with my editing for the day. That's it. And you submit it and you're done. All right, good luck.